Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Alex. Welcome back to Gray Area, and we're here today with Keys and Crates. What's up, guys? How are you?
What up? How you doing?
We're good.
Good. Are you guys speaking to us from Canada today?
We are.
Yes, we're at our studio in Toronto right now.
hmm
It. I imagine that working as a collective, as opposed to working as like an individual person making music, can be both difficult and also really fun. You have three heads, so that
hmm
means more ideas, but more ideas can sometimes be a bad thing. How do
hmm
you guys like figure out, like, is there like a scorched earth theory about what you guys do? Do you guys like, if one person doesn't like something, is it like Nick's? How do you guys like work together and figure out how to even put together, like, you guys did an album, you guys have done an album. How do you put together an album with three heads?
I mean, I think our first goal is to get everybody to be excited about it. Like the
Right.
three of us to be excited about every single part of every single song. That's always like the primary goal. Now, sometimes that doesn't always happen, but if two of us are very sure and one of us is like unsure, we tend to move forward on stuff. But we tend to try to get everybody to be excited. And if one person isn't excited, at least they're like cool with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're like, I get it. Maybe it's not my thing, but I get it, kind of thing. If
Interesting.
one person has like a problem where they're like, I don't think this sounds right, we'll generally that'll we'll work on it until they at least think it sounds right. You know what I mean?
Fair enough. That makes
Yeah.
sense.
hmm
So I do want to talk about your more recent work because you guys have always been associated with. I mean, I don't want to say this definitively, but you've always kind of been associated with bass music
hmm
or hip hop leaning electronica.
hmm
And but you have always had a kind of multi-genre approach to your work, but Original Classic last year was kind of like your first large-scale adventure into
hmm
house music.
hmm
And then this
Totally.
last EP, you guys leaned into it all the way.
hmm
What inspired this change in direction?
I think like you want to talk about it or
No, go ahead.
I mean, I think like a temp. There's a lot of things like I think we we really like. First of all, we've always been around it. It's not
Yeah.
new. It's not like something. It's also always kind of been there for us a little bit. Like
Mhm.
if you listen to even our trap stuff, there's elements of like house music in it. The way we chop stuff. Some of the
Right.
samples that we used were
Yeah.
like like defected samples. Like "Treat Me Right" was like a gospel house, disco gospel house kind of sample.
Right.
So it doesn't like for first of all for us it doesn't feel that crazy. But we also
Mm.
know that the house world is like, whoa, like are you making house music right now? And we're like, yeah, we're doing this, so
Right.
we get that. Yeah, I think for us it was like an energetic thing. Like the place that I think the place that we want to be at is playing this kind of music. And that's what we've come to like and we've just been kind of naturally going back to a lot of 90s stuff, like a lot of Armin van Helden and Masters at Work stuff from the 90s. And like we just like love how it's seamlessly dancey. There's like hip hop elements to the production in terms of like layering drums and like using drum breaks and chopping samples. Like it feels very hip hop to us in a way that kind of nothing else does in dance music. Like, and I guess house music is very broad, but I guess I'm speaking specifically to like things that get us excited. It
Yeah.
feels a way to make like a way that we can make dance music that feels like it has a lot of soul to us, but
Mm.
can still like hit really hard and have a lot of energy. So I think it's like a kind of an energetic pocket thing for us more than anything.
Yeah. That makes sense. I mean, it's funny you mentioned that because I feel like the New York style of house music that where the origins of the more soulful house music comes from
Mm.
really was born of the same space as hip hop was. Like a lot of the same techniques back then were being used on both sides. They just kind of branched off in two separate directions.
Totally. And like those guys were making rap like Louis Vega made INC Ride by Master Ace. Like they were dabbling, Armin van Helden was doing bonus beat 90 BPM stuff. Like
Right.
those guys were all dabbling in production. Like Nervous Records was like doing house and they were doing like, at Masters at Work, and then they were doing like Mad Lion, at the same time, or like
Right.
Black Moon. And it's like that's kind of like I we're older, like I was going to the record stores in the 90s, and these guys were going to those kind of parties that kind of came out of that. And
Right.
the record stores in the 90s here, I'm sure a lot like New York, like you'd walk in and it's like Masters at Work record, like Souls of Mischief, like, and it's just seamlessly all playing. And you're sort of like, even if you played the hip hop clubs, you're still buying house records because you
Right.
would just hear stuff and you're like, oh, that's fire. Like, I need that. You didn't say fire back then, you said dope. But, but, but like it all came from the same place, like stuff that would make you scrunch your face up made you scrunch your face up. Um, and there's a lot of music like that. Like we love like so much music. Like we're just music fans. So I think like yeah, it's interesting. Like the hip hop house thing. Like that's always just been a no brainer to us. But I know that that's not a no brainer to everybody.
No, absolutely not. I think it's interesting you talk about you being just music fans because I think that's pretty clear in the way that you sample.
Yeah,
And your approach to sampling, it has this like very dusty like hip hop slant to it,
yeah,
and you've brought that back into house music in a way that that hasn't been done in like a really long time. I feel like house music has gotten and dance music as a whole has gotten really overproduced.
yeah,
And what you guys are doing right now is kind of putting that soul and that little bit of like dirt back into it
yeah.
where it feels like, and I think it's maybe because you're a band so it sounds a little bit more natural. Can
Mhm.
you talk about a little bit about that and like what's your sampling process like? How are you digging?
Oh,
How are we not digging?
yeah,
Just, I mean,
everywhere.
scouring the net.
Yeah.
I mean,
We're not going to the record store.
no,
I can tell you
yeah,
that.
that's the
We're
one thing we're not doing.
Yeah,
But
we're on YouTube and Tracklib and Spotify and like any you know any
just
anywhere you can find stuff, Splice, like
yeah,
Yes.
whatever. Like we're completely not precious about where we sample from, provided we can like clear it
clear
and
it.
get away with it, obviously. Like
That's
There
a
it
whole
is.
that's a whole other thing.
yeah,
Well,
but like we gravitate, I think, more so than because I think everybody's kind of sampling from YouTube and all these same places. We're not giving away any kind of sauce here, It's
no,
like
no.
kind of doing that. I think for us, we gravitate towards certain things. Like we love, you know, big female vocals. Like the "Say You Love Me" vocals are a great example.
Yeah.
The "Get Up" sample. Like we love stuff with orchestration and like kind of that. Like that was kind of like a Philly soul sample that we flipped, kind of more French style, I guess.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, like it just, and then the "Get Up" sample or whatever, like that was a separate thing, and so like that's very old school because it's like using different samples, kind of doing a sample collagey sort of thing, and it feels more dense. That feels like kind of, yeah, very like an older spirit to us. I know we just have certain things that we like certain textures and instruments and vocal performances. I think that we all gravitate towards. Like when we hear a vocal sample, like I know these, like if I hear a certain kind of vocal sample, I know these guys are gonna like it. You know what I mean? And vice versa with them. Like we just all kind of have a similar taste in samples and sounds and stuff.
I love that.
Yeah.
Can you guys take me back to like your first interactions with house music and what that was like?
I mean, for me, it was in the record stores. It was very much like going to the record stores because I was going to buy hip hop. I was like a scratch DJ as a young kid,
Yeah.
and then I would be hearing like the guy in the record store playing like demoing records for people, and it'd be like strictly rhythm stuff or like nervous stuff. And I would just be like, oh man, this is amazing. And then I would start, and then like, because I was probably going to record stores before I was even going to clubs. And then I started going to clubs as an underage kid. And then I would hear like the guy come on and do like a house set, and then a guy come on later and do a hip hop. Like they would do that stuff all the time here. It was,
Right.
they very much, or there would be like a house room and a hip hop room.
Hip hop room. Yeah.
So I would kind of, that's kind of how I got introduced to it, was like in the kind of like mid 90s, like 94, 95, when I was like buying records and like starting to, as an underage kid, go to clubs, you know. But also we had like very mainstream stuff, which I'm sure you got exposed to,
That's more what I was exposed to.
like Electric Circus and
yeah,
stuff.
Electric Circus.
Yeah, which was amazing. Do you know about Electric Circus?
No, this is new to me. My knowledge of the Toronto scene is quite limited. So tell me all about it.
Tell them about Electric Circus.
It's like our kind of version of MTV was like Much Music in
Yeah,
Toronto.
yeah.
And
Oh.
we used to have like a party on. Well, it was like a live televised show.
It was like a live televised
Yeah,
dance
A
party.
dance party where they would
Yeah.
like you would go and they would just film, like literally film a dance party.
Yeah.
But they would have special guests.
They would have like
special
yeah,
performances.
they would have like dance like acts of the time perform, and they would also have a weekly DJ set.
Yeah.
Where the
Oh,
DJ
whoa.
play for like, he'd get like 5 to 10 minutes on the air. The rest of the time they were basically airing music videos,
Yeah.
syncing it, not really syncing it, just like
going to people
dancing to whatever the DJ was playing. Which, I guess it worked because it was all around the same tempo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever. But yeah, they would always have like amazing like local cats or cats from out of town that were coming in to play here and stuff. So you would see like a DJ set on TV, and it was hosted by this foxy lady named Monica Diol. And yeah, like, and that was cool. I mean, there was cool, like they were playing like underground house on there. So like, I'm sure you got exposed like that, right?
Yeah, and I wasn't even really listening for that at the time. 'Cause
Yeah.
I was primarily more in like rock bands and stuff like that. So, but when I would go out to the clubs, that's what was playing. So I was exposed to it, but not really
Yeah.
kind of taking it in.
Well, how did the three of you all end up together then? Because it sounds like you all inhabited a similar world in a way, but you all come from different backgrounds musically.
Very different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Matisse and I were playing in. We went to college together, and then we started playing in kind of like R&B, funk, and soul bands.
Yeah.
And then we were playing in a band, just the two of us, and that's when we met Greg. Matisse met Greg.
Mm-hmm.
They started doing like kind of like a DJ keyboard kind of little like jam.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
I came in. Matisse brought me in, and then we kind of got into a rehearsal room and just started putting drums underneath the keyboard and turntable jam. And it was like more like, like flipping old hip hop samples and soul samples and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you guys said you were a remix band at some point, or I saw that.
We were like a live remix cover band. That's how we
Yeah.
started. Like, we weren't even making our own music, and then we kind of just hit a ceiling with that, where we wanted to have our own music, and like we just thought about like what would it be like if we had our own stuff that we were playing, and like the crowd was dancing to that instead of like covers, you know. And then we just kind of learned to produce together and did that. And then our setup became more electronic because we kind of like the whole like trap music thing happened. And that was like
Right.
really exciting to us because we were like, oh, like we get to play like rap beats, but like instrumental, and people are like freaking out and having a good time to them. This is like a great forum for us.
Yeah.
So then everything became like tunes, triggers became like electronic and stuff.
Right.
And everything became more, big and electronic sounding. And we became like essentially like a dance act,
Right.
So yeah, so that's kind of how it happened. And then, we did that, and, I think the trap scene went in a direction that it didn't speak to us anymore. Like when it started, it felt really fun, and it had the spirit of stuff we really like. And then it got harder and like more aggressive. and like less fun. And then we were kind of like, it left us sort of starting to dive into other music. And, you know, that's kind of where, how we ended up here, is because we were just like, naturally, like, we're like, we love like making people dance, and, but like, we need to do it another way, like that kind of speaks to maybe where we're at as people more, you know?
Yeah,
You're
totally.
following the soul.
Following the soul.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I like that. Oh, because I said it. Well, I think it's, that's a really interesting progression that you guys have all followed on. You guys are like, you guys became producers together, and you guys have all followed, like, you guys have like diverged your paths. And you've occupied this really unique space where you're able to work in multiple worlds at once because you're a band and you're not a DJ. You're not DJs or a one singular DJ thing. And you've always been built with bass music acts. Can you talk a little bit about that duality of being able to navigate within different scenes?
Like in terms of,
Just being able to, like, you were in bass music, and now you're doing, like, you were in hip hop, you were kind of in hip hop, and now you're in house music, and you're a live act, you also kind of like fit into this DJ realm, but in a different way. Can you talk about being able to just kind of being able to be in these different spaces all at once?
right.
Well, that's not. Yeah.
I mean, I don't think we've never
Yeah.
really fit into anything.
Yeah,
you know?
that's been the one thing, is that, it was really when the trap thing came in, they were kind of like, "You're a trap band," and we're like, "Really? Okay, I guess we fit into that space," because we've always kind of.
Yeah,
I mean, when you start dabbling in a lot of different styles, I feel like, unless someone claims you as theirs, you kind of
Right.
float between, and it has its yeah, there's good and bad about that.
yeah,
Definitely,
yeah, definitely. I think like we've never really feel like we fit into anything. You know, like we definitely, like when we were playing the bass music festivals, we were always like, you know,
We're the
I
outcasts.
yeah, I mean, I think there was something like early on in the trap stuff when we were doing a lot of like the Mad Decent stuff. It felt like the music more spoke to us, and but we still felt like different just because we were like always the only, like we would do all those like Mad Decent block parties and tours, and we would be like the only act that was like doing live shit. So we just felt
Right.
like we were just like, oh, this is weird. Like we're, like people, we're having to worry about all this like band stuff, and you just see like DJs, and they were all like so calm and relaxed because they just like all they had to do was like plug some USB stick in, and like they're like, oh, I just like finished this, I'm just like play this right now, and we're like, oh, I don't know, it takes us like 2 weeks to get a song into our set, because we have to rehearse it. So
Right.
it always felt like weird like that. But I don't know, we've never really felt like we fit in, and I don't think that's ever even been a thing for us. Like, I don't even think we just kind of, we always know that we're going to be kind of doing all these different things. Like, even like we write music, like, we've been writing all this house music lately, but we're working with like not house vocalists, like we're working with like R&B and soul vocalists, because those are the kind of vocals we like. So a lot
Right.
of people, like some of them, like when we go to London and stuff, like a lot of them, their parents listen to house music, so they already get it. But like in LA, a lot of them are like, this is the first time they've ever made a house record, and they haven't listened to much house. So it's
How
like
cool.
we kind of move in different scenes. We're used to moving through different scenes and being like a little bit of the outsiders everywhere, because we'll work with like R&B and soul vocalists, but we're not really R&B producers, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
then we'll even in house music, like I don't know, like we're kind of still new to it. I feel like this EP and the album we're about to do is really
Yeah.
going to cement our footing in having made house music, and we're seeing like this new record that we just put out, like the Say You Love Me, is getting mad like house DJ support, like huge. All these guys, Jamie Jones and all the like Mark Knight and all these guys are supporting, and we're like, oh, that's so crazy. And I don't know what cements you somewhere where you feel like not an outsider, because we've never
I
had
mean,
that.
well, I mean, well, there's two things you're saying there. Like, one, I think one thing that'll cement you is having some of the people that have been doing this for a really long time playing your music. But
Yeah.
also, the entirety of dance music historically has been made up of outsiders anyways. So
Right.
that's kind of like that's just kind of the space that all of us operate in. We were all kind of the weird kids that listened to weird music and danced in dark rooms all of the time.
Right. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's it's an outsider sport that we're playing in.
Right.
But I
Right.
mean, the fact that you guys have been able to make this transition so smoothly, and then also get the support of people that have been doing this for a really long time is fantastic and just really remarkable. How does it make you feel to just be like to get that kind of acceptance so quickly?
Great. I mean, it's I don't even, I think we're reluctant to say it's acceptance because
Yeah.
it's like weird because we're just seeing like, oh, these people are supporting your record. And it's like, oh, cool. We've never met them, or like, we don't even know what that, like, you know what I mean? It's like, do you meet them? And they're like, oh yeah, I think I played your record. Or are they like, whoa, I'm playing your record all the time. Like, we don't even know what that feels like. So we just see on paper, it's like all these people are playing it. So hopefully that means acceptance, and you know what, and it is what it is. I think we're just going to make the music, and we really believe in the music that we're making right now. So over and above everything, like we're just going to make it and we're going to deliver it and we're going to play it. And if
That's what I
people,
love to hear.
great.
That's all that
mean,
matters.
I don't know, at the end
Yeah.
of the day. But I know house music is this thing where it's like it is a bit of a precious environment because I think for just historical, like legitimate reasons, you know what I mean? And we are like sensitive to that, like I know people will just be like, I'm gonna make house now, and like it's like and people that have been making house for a long time are like, chill.
Well, I think people can recognize though when that like transition comes from a genuine place.
Right.
And you're from after hearing what you've said about it, it sounds like it definitely is. Like this is something that this happened naturally. It happened organically, and to happen organically between three people all at the same time is really kind of remarkable.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You talked about your next album, which is crazy that you're talking about your next album because you just released one last year.
Right.
What's that? What is that going to look like?
It's we're leaning into the house thing
Yeah.
more and energy, like very energetic, very fun, and very like clubby, right?
Yeah.
Like everything just
Yeah,
feels.
we just want to be able to play everything.
Yeah, we want to be able to play everything. Like I think our last album, it was flirting with many styles, but I think
Yeah.
a lot of the stuff ended up being hard for us to play, ultimately. And I think this album, everything is like meeting the like, oh yeah, like we're excited to play this test, which for us, like we're realizing is like kind of the best internal A&R test ever because it's so objective. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Would we
Yeah.
play this?
Yeah, would
It's-
we play it?
It's not like,
Yeah.
do you like this song?
Yeah.
Because like when you're making stuff that's like hybrid electronic and leans pop, like the three of us, our tastes can like differ a little bit within that. Like not in terms of like the overall big picture, but maybe song to song, we might be like, oh, I really like this one. I like this one more. You know what I mean? But it's like with like the sort of club test, it's like, would we play this? We're always on the same page
Yeah.
about that. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? It's like, yo, this, like, would we play this in our set? Would we want people to know that this is us? And is this going to draw a crowd? It's like it's so binary and in a great way. So
It's such a weird place for you guys to be in after doing what you were doing, what the other thing that you were doing for so long, because you're kind of forcing yourself to think like DJs collectively.
for sure,
Yeah.
for sure. And we are DJing now. Like we've been DJing the past few years, which has helped come to this. I think.
Yeah.
Because we were when DJing, we've been playing many things. We've been playing our old music and working it in with new music and like the hybrid pop electronic stuff, and then the house influence stuff, and then like bringing in house and like seeing how that feel and doing all this stuff and like really finding ourselves as a dance act in a way, and so we really know what that feels like to DJ and like to want to play the music that we want to play that feels like it represents us energetically as people, and then we're like, well, all the music we make has to feel like that, and that becomes like a way easier thing to a target to hit, I think,
Yeah.
than do we like this pop song? You know,
Right.
it's like because that's just like so it becomes so subjective.
100%. I
Yeah.
love it. So before we get into the speed run, I always like to end on this question, and it's what excites you about the future of dance music?
Dance music in general. I mean, I guess I'm excited about us doing this,
we're doing.
like I'm excited about us being able to have our take on this, and we just have so many ideas and ways that we think we can contribute. And also we have so much to learn, and we're excited to just like learn stuff, and like every day we're listening to new and old music and getting ideas. And I think just like hearing like new producers do crazy things and have new ideas, and then like listen to classic stuff and realize like realize why it's classic. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
Yeah.
it's just exciting. Like it's just like we just enjoy doing this every day. So like I guess we're excited about us doing it.
Yeah.
It's just great.
I love it. So are you guys ready for some weird questions?
Sure.
Sure.
All right. So let's start off with an easy one. What was your first thought this morning?
Oh, I'm not gonna have a car to get to the studio.
Oh, no.
My tongue hurts. I have a canker sore. I know. I have a canker sore on the bottom of my tongue. I woke up and I was like, and it hurts. And I was like, this is annoying.
I've asked that question at least 20 times now, and those are probably two of the most bizarre answers. Thank you. Thank you for that. So there's a lot of strange foods that come out of Canada. Poutine, delicious. Ketchup chips, pickle
Yeah.
chips, but
Yeah.
all bizarre things. What is your favorite thing that's purely Canadian?
I mean, I love ketchup chips personally. I'm a huge ketchup chip fan. I mean, I love poutine. Um, I don't
That's-
eat I don't eat it a lot, but
No,
yeah.
but that's purely Canadian.
Yeah, that's purely Canadian.
Yeah, what else is
What else is
what else is purely Canadian?
like?
I don't know. I think I just named the only three.
Back bacon purely Canadian?
Oh,
Or
like
is Pimel?
like Pimel bacon. That's technically Canadian. Like people call that like Canadian bacon.
But you guys just call it bacon.
Well,
Well, we have two types. We
we have your bacon,
Your
like,
bacon,
and then we have like we call it female bacon actually,
female bacon. We don't even call it. Yeah.
which is like the leaner bacon. But yeah, like I don't know. Other than that, it's like the truly Canadian dishes. Like
Are few.
yeah, I don't. I'm sure there are, but like I don't know. Maybe because we grew up in like Toronto, which is like a big international city, and
Right.
we just get food from around the world. I think.
Yeah.
And that's like mainly what we get. But poutine is delicious.
Poutine is absolutely delicious. I can see why you don't eat a lot of it though, because how much cheese curd could you actually consume
Yeah.
without it becoming a problem?
Yeah, right. I mean, I will say this: Schwartz's Deli in Montreal, which is like a Montreal Jewish like deli,
Yeah.
is the best. Like, is one of the greatest things I've ever eaten. Like, it would go into my top 10 things of like things I've ever eaten, and it's like I mean, it's like all the New York kind of delis,
Yeah.
Jewish delis, but like it's better. It is the best one that I've ever had. It's insane.
There you go. That's your answer right there.
Yeah.
Would you rather never be able to hear your favorite song again, or be forced to play your least favorite song in every set you play?
I would choose never play favorite song ever again.
Yeah, I could do that too because I have a lot of favorite songs,
Yeah.
so I could like,
You can let go of one.
I could
Yeah.
let go of one, yeah,
Not to hear the
yeah,
worst.
not to hear the worst one in every set. That's awful. That's an awful
Yeah.
question.
That's the whole point. Sophie's choice. Would you rather only be able to whisper or only be able to shout?
Whisper,
Whisper.
Biggie or Tupac?
Biggie.
Biggie.
I don't even like Tupac.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Hot take.
I was just talking to somebody else that agrees with me.
I'm from California, so I guess people will say I'm contractually obligated to like Tupac, but I'm going to tell you something. I kind of agree with you.
I think more people agree with me than will say, but I think he
I
has social significance that prevents people from speaking on it. But like
yes.
the way people make fun of different rappers, like they're like and reduce them and dismiss them,
Yes.
he is the easiest person to do that with. Like
I
by a landslide. It's crazy.
I just don't think he's that great.
Yeah.
Lyrically, it's not eh.
I don't even think he's in the top 100 rappers. Like
No.
I don't even think it's like I like the whole like top 5 thing. I don't even think he's mentionable. Like I think he's just a guy with a lot of social significance. That's my
Yes.
opinion. I hope a lot of people from California don't see this.
Oh shit.
Greg's opinion does not reflect that of Keats and Krates.
Yeah. It's not. It's not. Tune actually loves Tupac.
I love Tupac. He's the
He
best,
actually had
best ever.
the bandana on before
Yeah.
he came in.
Before oh yeah, backwards everything.
Everything,
he took it off for
everything.
All right, next question. If I looked at your recently played tunes on Spotify, what would you want to hide from me?
Nothing. I wouldn't.
Nothing?
I wouldn't hide anything. I'm not ashamed of anything
No.
I listen to. I don't really like when people are like, "Do you have a guilty like?" I don't think there's anything I listen to that's like I'm like, yeah, I'm embarrassed of. You know, if anything,
I feel that.
Yeah,
No, I don't.
yeah.
No.
No.
That's good. That's
Yeah.
good. Even if it's like a little weird or even like basic, it's okay. Music's music.
Yeah.
I mean, great. I mean, a lot of basic music is incredible. I mean,
Absolutely.
you know, everything is defensible too. You know, like if you love it, it's you can defend it. You know.
I had a year where Alanis Morissette was my top played Spotify artist, and I'm not sure why. But
There's nothing wrong with that.
Somebody else
Hey.
in the house was playing.
no, it was I will readily admit that it was me listening to Jagged Little Pill on repeat for some reason. I'm not sure if it was nostalgia or what, but I really was getting back into that album.
I love that album.
Yeah,
I love
I
that
mean,
album.
It's actually one of the best rock albums ever.
Yeah, with Glenn Ballard producing.
Yeah.
It. Amazing.
Fucking fantastic.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
Would you rather be forced to sing along or dance to every single song that you hear?
Dance.
Yes.
Yes. I love it. What sound or noise do you love?
Ooh.
That's a. What sound or noise?
Like kind of like a broad thing, like or like a very specific thing.
It could be either one.
Like I love like any sound that sounds like it's like a dance hall sound effect. Like anything that,
Oh, the echoey, real big echoey.
anything that sounds like it could come from that genre of things, like an air horn or like an air raid siren or like anything that sounds like it's to hype up a tune, you know? Like I love that. Like a weird laser that goes, you know, like or like
You like ear candy.
I love ear candy. We
Yes.
love ear candy. We love ear candy so much we used to put way too much of it in our music.
It was all of it.
It was all ear candy. Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. I like that.
Yeah, we still use ear candy, but like way more sparingly now.
Yeah.
Do you have the air horn sample like on one button of the mixer though? Like
No, and
As
I
one-
I did.
I used to.
Yeah.
Yeah. You should. Actually, I was thinking about for our Odd Soul party. I'll say this to you on here is I was thinking about bringing out like one of the old Roland samplers.
I just filling that with hairs.
With like dance hall sound effects and also like a drop from like your mom or something being like oh his mom's got like an amazing voice. She actually if you hear like a British female voice saying keys and crates on like our really early stuff or like
Yeah.
there's like some laughing like a eerie kind of like laughing that's actually his mom we sampled and she just has like a great voice and she's like a really like just like funny, like charismatic woman. So he'd like record her, just do like a half an hour of like recording her, and she would just be like taking the piss out of him the whole time.
Yeah.
Like,
We'll just take that part, those parts.
yeah, and then we would chop it
She's
up.
actually, yeah, the last track of our album, it's her as well.
Oh yeah, yeah. On that album, when she was like, what did she say?
She was like, "Is that it?" or something.
"Is that it? Is that all?"
I like it.
I like it. Yeah, yeah,
Oh, I love this.
yeah, yeah.
I love this.
Yeah.
What's worse, random people you haven't spoken to in years hitting you up for guest list, or a hangnail?
Ooh.
Ooh.
A hangnail because
I think, yeah. I mean, yeah, I would say the hangnail.
yeah,
That's worse.
yeah,
That's more annoying. Usually they last a little longer.
yeah. I mean, you can ignore whoever.
Yeah.
This is true.
I mean,
that is the advantage to the DM. Is you
I would take
A Punisher in a green room
is
that
that might be the worst.
that might be that might be worse than a hangnail.
Yeah.
Like when they're in person and they're cornering you.
And talking about how their brother used to play the drums. Oh.
Yeah. Or like or like they've thought about producing but just never did it because it was too hard. And it's like man, it's tough.
You're right. That is way worse than either of those other things.
Yeah.
And last question. Finish this sentence. House music is
Groovy.
Fun.
fucking fantastic. Thank you so much for taking the time out to speak to us today. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Thanks for
fun to
having
talk
us.
to you, man.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. You're from California.
I am. I live in Oakland. Our company's based in New York,
Yeah.
but I am the sole person on the West Coast.
Oh, word.
Cool.
Oakland's
Yeah.
Oakland's dope. I love the Bay Area, man.
It's my favorite place in the world. And it's prohibitively expensive, but I don't see myself living anywhere else.
I know. I mean, everywhere good is prohibitively expensive now. So, you know.
Yeah, I've like people have always suggested like, why don't you move to someplace like less expensive? Like even if you moved like an hour outside of the city or 2 hours, and I'm like, yeah, but then I would live in that other place, and
Yeah.
I don't want to.
Yeah. Where would it be like Fresno or something like that?
People have like suggested like Tracy, which is Tracy is like an hour or hour and 40 minutes east.
Yeah.
Because there's like a lot of people buy big houses there for really cheap.
Yeah.
But then you're in Tracy.
Yeah.
And it's like,
That's
yeah,
just
then I'm living in the valley and it smells like cow poo. I don't.
Well,
I'm
man,
cool.
when we come out your way, you got to come out to a set. Come hang out.
Absolutely. So the first time I saw you guys live was at a show in Richmond at like it was called Audiotistic. It was an Insomniac show. This was like maybe it was like 10 years ago now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would definitely love to see you guys come out again.
Yeah, let's do it.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for taking the time out to speak to me. This was a lot of fun, and I'm a huge fan of your music and have been for a long time, so this was extra special for me. Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, man. Good
Thanks.
to talk.
Yeah, good to chat.
Good to talk.
Awesome.
Love it.
Awesome.
All right, man.
All right. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
Alrighty.